Franklin Roosevelt, I think, said at the end of prohibition of alcohol, he made a quote that will apply today. He said, "We cannot afford to prohibit alcohol any longer." Right. I say that should be applied today. We cannot afford to prohibit marijuana any longer.
You make so much sense. Agree with you, yeah. Well, anyway, I got upset because, when you guys were going back and forth at it, and I said, gee, how do you know who to believe with this whole union thing and all this? And
you want to hear a good story on him?
Yeah.
All right. He got charged with a sexual assault in Minnesota.
When?
This was back right about before I became governor. It was in the 90s, I think.
Right.
That he was there for something or other, and a girl charged him officially with a sexual assault. And it was interesting because I knew she was telling the truth. You know why?
Why?
Well, as wrestlers, you're all, gang showers and all that. She said here was this guy with this huge, massive body, but he had a tiny penis.
A full description of Hogan.
Absolutely.
What does that mean? He sexually assaulted her, or just he had sex with her?
Well, I don't know, but it means that she saw him nude one way or the other.
So in other words,
I believed it.
Why I like your honesty. I always ask football players, I say to them, when you're in the shower, do you ever compare size and this and that? They go, oh, no, we never look.
I don't look.
Of course you look. You got to look and see. So you're saying you would look at Hogan, and you see, like a baby penis.
Yeah.
No,
whoa.
My God.
Oh, hey.
Well, a little more than that.
You are very well hung, right, Governor? I mean, you have nothing to be ashamed of. Is that correct?
Because now Hogan will come back and he'll tell us what you look like.
That's right. That's
right. Let him.
Someone's getting tortured.
Who had the biggest one? Sheik? Iron Sheik?
I'm no faggot.
I don't know. I don't remember.
You don't even
honest.
remember.
People fail to realize I've been gone from wrestling for 19 years.
Right. No,
I left in 1990 and involvement with wrestling.
You can't remember crazy details like the size of Iron Sheik's penis.
I have a feeling about you. I feel you're going to run for president.
No.
I think you're going to
There was a time I would have entertained it, but I don't think so because I think that Obama will get, unless things go really terrible, he'll get reelected.
Do you like him?
Yeah.
You agree with what he's doing?
Well, no, I don't know. I think the bailout, no one knows. How do you handle it? I don't know how to handle this thing. I'd have to go to some people, and, he went to summers at Harvard and all that when I taught there, and he's a bright guy. So,
right.
And Obama's a graduate of Harvard. At least now we have a president who can read a teleprompter.
He can read a teleprompter, he can speak.
For 8 years, we had someone that couldn't do that.
I agree.
By the way, I did a lot of reading on George Bush. Do you know who he is? Blutarsky.
That's true.
You remember from Animal House?
Yeah.
The Belushi character. 4 different interviews from his classmates.
That's right.
And every one of them, different interviews, and they all said if you would have taken a poll at Yale and said who was the least likely guy who would be the president, George Bush would have won hands down. He never read a book. He never studied there. He got C's, which if you get accepted in Harvard or Yale, a C is like failing.
So how did this guy become governor of Texas?
His dad.
I know, but people do eventually have to pull the lever for the guy. And I know there was money behind it. A snow job.
Yeah, they convinced us this was a bright man.
Well, we don't get to see him and talk to him.
My feeling is he never was fully in control of the White House. That there were other people running the show.
Dick Cheney.
And some other guys, all from the first President Bush's administration. They put them all in there.
He's a figurehead. He was a guy they found that would do what they wanted to have done.
It was like a bunch of gangsters.
But do you think, because there's that one scene, it was almost like 2 kids fighting. I'm the one who's getting to say, cut, like a director.
Right. Well, Jesse's making me think of a scene in Animal House where Blutarsky gets up and says, "Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?"
Yeah, one of those kind of guys.
And again, to me, George Bush was Blutarsky.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. And yet, 2 terms, and now I think the state of the world is so far gone. The economy here in the United States and people
all over the world, because our economy runs the world.
I'll tell you what's sad. When our economy goes bad, you know who gets hit worse than we do? The poor Mexicans.
Yeah.
Do you know, a year ago, the exchange rate, I'm making money hand over fist now just playing the exchange rate.
What do you mean?
A year ago, it was 10 pesos to the dollar.
Right.
So I took a bunch of money and bought pesos. Well, now it's 15 pesos to the dollar if you buy it now.
So that's
so the point is, eventually it'll go back to because of the freedom I'm afforded down there. Down there, I'm just a big gringo. They don't know who I am. None of the fame comes with you. I'm into surfing now.
But Mexico is very corrupt, right? I mean, you got to
but you know that.
But you know it. You know what you're dealing with.
See what
ain't no one kidnapping him.
We've got blinders on. We think our government's honest.
Right.
We're full of shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, at least Mexico, you accept that the government's corrupt, and you go in with that knowledge and acceptance. I've beaten the federales twice. I got to get out of jail free card. No, the federales, they pull you over and they try to heist money from you.
Right.
They've tried that. That's the federal police.
I know.
So
It's
what
a
do you
funny
do?
word.
Well, I pull out my governor's ID and they back off and let me go.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Good for you.
The last time he was going to write me up, it was going to cost me 500 pesos, and he said I couldn't have my license back, but we could settle it here.
Right.
I pulled out my governor's ID and said, I know Presidente Fox and President Calderon. Are you sure you want to do this? He's no free card.
So being in the government is better than being in any mafia or anything like that?
In Mexico.
Yeah. Huh?
Oh,
In
really?
Mexico.
Yeah, it's really
they have...
Are you friendly with your neighbors? Oh, you don't even see neighbors.
Well, I have neighbors down there could be a mile away. Like my main neighbor is a rancho gentleman named Mr. Gonzalez.
Yeah.
And they're very family-oriented down there. And to show you what type of man he is, he has horses, and my wife loves to ride.
Right.
So she approached Mr. Gonzalez and asked if she could rent or lease a horse from him.
Right.
He looked at her very sternly and said no. And then he said, you're my neighbor. He said, come over and ride my horses anytime you feel like it.
Makes you want to cry sometimes.
Well,
you realize how nice people are,
yeah,
right?
and he didn't. And so what we found out then, to way to repay him, whenever we go to town, we'll buy little presents for his grandchildren, and we'll drop them off.
Do you ever cry, or are you too
Sure.
macho for that?
No, I cry.
You do? When's the
Yeah.
last time you cried?
Probably when my mom died.
Oh, did she die?
She died in 1995.
Your parents or anything like
No.
that? No. You don't believe in psychiatry?
For the people that need it.
You don't need it.
I went to Bud's.
Yeah, that was your psychiatrist.
Yeah.
Gets everything
truthfully.
out, huh? Yeah.
No, whenever I face any adversity in life, I think back to SEAL training. I go, shit, this is nothing compared to that. Why am I bitching and moaning?
Jesse, you want to cry? Rent Made in Manhattan with Jennifer Lopez. Oh my God! Really? Oh, it's a
Do
killer.
you mind taking a few phone calls? Listen.
Not at all.
Jesse Ventura's book, The Governor, Don't Start the Revolution Without Me, is now available in paperback. Guy makes a lot of sense. I think you should read his books. The next book is even going to be big, so you have to get the series, if you know what I mean. He says he will not run for president ever.
Well, no. I never say never. At 57, I've learned not to say that because
Could happen.
2 years from now, who knows? You know, I don't think... I wouldn't have wished what Barack Obama inherited on Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do? And you don't like...
That's in the tank.
How's he going to get us out of Iraq? I mean, you know, I know he vowed he would. How's he going to do it?
I'm a straightforward guy. I agreed with Dr. Paul.
And you agreed to just go in and go out.
Leave. You marched in. Can't you march out?
It actually looks like an easier get out of situation than Afghanistan.
Why hasn't President Obama gotten us out then? I mean, he said he was going to. What do you think his hang-up is?
Because after he got in, all these other people told him why you can't get out and how we've made a big commitment there. And rest assured, it all evolves around
Oil.
OIL.
Yeah. Oil.
Well, what did, you know,
oil? Is that oil he said?
Yes.
Yes,
Oil.
that's how you spell oil.
Yeah.
But what did I say when, you know, everybody's like, well, he's the one that's going to... I said, look, you can't leave at this point.
Yeah,
You can't.
well...
And
what do you think of Rush Limbaugh's comments when this jackass says he hopes the president doesn't do well?
Well, I take Rush for the buffoon that he is.
He's a buffoon.
And the sad part is, though, is he has millions of people in this president fails. To me, that's as unpatriotic as you can possibly
Who doesn't want the... Listen, I didn't vote for George Bush ever, but I wanted him to succeed.
Sure.
I was praying to God he'd be a great
because
president.
then we succeed.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, right.
Exactly. And you know... But
you think the stock market's going to rebound?
Sure, it went up 200 and some points yesterday.
Yeah, but
It's
then
up
it goes
to
down
85.
again?
Yeah, but I figure it'll bottom out next summer.
Yeah?
I think after next summer you're going to see. It's going to take a few years.
Good. I'll be working construction by the fall.
You know, but then I could be wrong too. Who knows? It
Who
could
knows?
tank even more. And I like I said,
You got money in stocks?
no. I was smart enough. Right at about age 50, I decided, you know what? I want to retire now, and if I was younger, I'd continue to play. No, I took the majority of my money and put it into tax-free municipal bonds.
Right.
And so that doesn't get hit at all. You don't make much money off it, but it's solid. It's going to be there.